good evening, everybody. It is Wednesday. It is June 3rd, and this is Talk of the Town. I'm your guest host, Andrew Botieri, filling in for the wonderful Karen Bukes, who is home watching again tonight. So take some good notes tonight, Karen. And Ken just wanted me to let you know that I had to use last week's intro sheet because for some reason he did not get his intro sheet, but we know you're very busy and we appreciate it. All I really had to do was cross out 378 because tonight is show 378, so we're all set there. Hello, everybody. Again, welcome to Talk of the Town. And okay, let's talk about some of our underwriters that we have for today's show. We've got Stowell's Cafe in Manamet. Of course, Brewster PC Solutions with Wrestling Brewster, who also has a show here on PAC TV. Attorneys Tripoletti and Costa on Long Pond Road. And also our wonderful underwriters and our one of our main viewers who hopefully will be calling in tonight because when he's on the show, no one ever calls in. David and Kevin Gallerani, owners of Cape Auto and Service locations on Samoset and Sandwich Street, right here in America's hometown of Plymouth, Massachusetts. And tonight we have a very good show, as we have, or as Ed Sullivan used to say, really good show. Anyway, just having a little levity tonight because it is going to be a great show. We do have a repeat visitor here with us tonight. We have Michele Pecoraro, who is Executive Director of the Plymouth 400, Plymouth 2020, so we're going to be talking a little bit about that. And we also have Kim Corben, Executive Director of the Plymouth Philharmonic, so we're going to be chatting with her as well. And between the three of us, we're going to be talking about our newly formed in November 18th of 2014 is the Plymouth Bay Cultural District. It's very, very exciting. I think we became the 26th cultural district, if I'm not mistaken, in the town of Massachusetts, which is just going to be incredible for both the merchants in town, but also all the cultural, the arts, the music that we have here as well. And with the Plymouth 2020 coming up very shortly, which now is under 5 years away as that clock keeps ticking. So
Yes,
again, to my right, your left, we have Kim Corben here. Kim, welcome.
Thank you. Welcome.
And of course, my sister from another mister, Michele Pecoraro. For those that didn't see, we actually have a birthday on December 19th. And so we take each other out for our birthdays. And we have fun all the time that we do that. I'm fighting a little bit of a cold, so excuse me. But I did want to talk aside about the Plymouth Bay Cultural District. And I guess, Michele, I'll throw that over to you. What was the initiation? How did this get started? Where was that groundswell that finally, after all these years at Plymouth, actually became a cultural district?
Well, you know, we have so many great cultural entities that I really feel like didn't get the kind of recognition that they deserve. Like the Philharmonic, like the Arts Center, the New Spire Center. I actually, when I came back to Plymouth to work on the Plymouth 400, one of my friends at the MCC called and said, well, you know, you're in Plymouth, and it's a no-brainer. They really deserve to have a cultural district. So we went ahead and applied. It's a pretty rigorous application process and review process, and we were all involved. And we were able to become the newest and largest cultural district with 120 cultural assets within a 3-mile walking area. So that would be Water Street and up around the downtown area.
And when you say entities, that's restaurants, retail, and also cultural, whether it's the Philharmonic, the Spires, or...
So the qualification is you either have to be a cultural entity like the Spire, or you have to, if you're a restaurant, you should have live music on a regular schedule. You can have original local art hanging on your walls. So Kiskity Cafe, for example, is a cultural entity. Yep. So between all of the restaurants and shops that have handmade items, locally made items, and then the cultural entities themselves, we have a very vibrant cultural community here.
Wonderful. And how long did that process take? You said it takes a long time, and so November 18th, it was. I guess it was signed off on, for lack of a better term. How long was that process prior to that?
We started the process in June. And we pushed the process because we wanted to be a district by Thanksgiving, by the weekend of the Thanksgiving celebration. So the weekend before Thanksgiving.
Well, you came pretty close.
We did. We came very close.
Yeah.
We made it, and we were able to announce the cultural district at the Plymouth 400 Illuminate event.
Mm-hmm.
We had the Senate President at the time, Therese Murray, announce that we were an official district of Massachusetts. It's a Massachusetts-sanctioned cultural district, so even though right now it doesn't come with its own funding, it really opens doors to funding for cultural events and things.
Wonderful. And Kim, how did you get involved?
Well, I started at the Plymouth Philharmonic in July, mid-July, and on my second day, I ran into Michele.
Oh, that was your first mistake.
Michele and I had worked together at Plymouth Plantation years ago.
Right.
Oh, okay.
And she asked me, would you like to be a part of this?
Mm-hmm.
And there's a meeting tonight. So
Sounds like her, doesn't it?
But I thought it was very exciting, and the most exciting part for me is that to have all of the cultural assets represented in, on the committee, and really be able to work together with places like the Spire and the Arts Center and, all of the other arts organizations in town. So.
And it's something, I've obviously I've had family in Plymouth since 1620.
Right.
But I didn't know any. I think Ken might have known some of them back in that day. But more and more people because that I know from Massachusetts, always just talk about what a great place Plymouth is. Mm-hmm. And we know that because we live here and we participate in it. And it's still amazing to me that there's still so much that we offer that even local people, I don't think, have really caught on to yet.
Absolutely.
And so I think by doing this, having the Plymouth Bay Cultural District, and some of the things that the merchants are currently doing to promote business downtown.
Right. For First Saturday.
And I know I did hopefully that we'll get some people to call in. Again, if you do want to call in and talk to us, our number is 508-830-3971. Again, 508-830-3971, and it's actually right there on our screen, right over here, right there on the screen. You can call in. So we'd appreciate anybody that would like to call in and talk about the cultural district and some of the things, especially if you're a merchant. We'd love to hear from you to get your excitement, because I know from walking around and talking to merchants that I did on First Saturday, which, as a matter of fact, this coming Saturday is the first Saturday for June, where there's live music out front. I mean, all the way from Setting the Space, Gary Wass's group, all the way down to Jody's place at the Full Sail and across the street and on the green. It's I tell you, I did the first Saturday last month for May, and it was a blast.
Yeah. It's hopping, and on a beautiful day, it's wonderful.
It turned out to be a great day.
So it's just so wonderful to walk down the street and have musicians playing and artists painting, and it's a great feeling. And we travel to places to get that.
Exactly.
When, as you said, a lot of people don't realize that they've got that right here in their own backyard. Yeah. And I think there are more people from outside of Plymouth that seek these things out. Mm-hmm. We kind of live in this vicinity, so we just assume that there's nothing going on downtown, but there always is something going on, and it's a really vibrant community, cultural community.
Well, and I can see that because I sit on the board for Project Arts, which does the free summer music series on Wednesday nights. And there's this group that comes, and I always say hi to them, but they come all the way from Braintree pretty much every Wednesday night.
Yep.
Because it's now, because I think what's happening now in Plymouth, because I know when I first moved back here, and when we first met at the Radisson, and then you went over to the Plymouth Plantation, that Plymouth sort of always had this this moniker, if you will, that it was sort of the drive-through from people going to the Cape to Boston. Mm-hmm. And it seems, at least over the last couple years, that it's actually now starting to become a destination.
Right.
Absolutely.
You know,
Right.
You know, we were talking. I think at the last Plymouth Bay Cultural District. I forget the gentleman's name, but he has the spring water comfort inn, or the
the Cold
Best
Spring,
Western,
Best Western, Cold
Best
Spring.
Western.
Right.
And he was
Right.
talking about how, you know, around a lot of these events that, you know, his place is full. And he happened to have been closed on one event.
That's right.
Which I forget what event it was.
It was recent.
Yeah, was it the Thanksgiving?
No, they're open Thanksgiving, but it was sometime this spring because they just reopened.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
he made the comment. He said, you know, I think I'm missing the boat.
Yeah.
So you know, it's just fantastic. You had mentioned Therese Murray. Obviously, she's enjoying her retirement. Matter of fact, at the Artie Awards back a month and a half ago, we did present her with an achievement award for all that she's done for Plymouth. And you know, I know Vinny DiMacedo has been very instrumental as well in helping a lot of things with Plymouth. I know when I sat on the Library Corporation, both he and Therese were actually able to get us some additional funding, so we didn't lose our federal funding by being closed on a Sunday.
Right.
And at that point, I think we were the only library on the South Shore that was actually open on Sunday. So we had people coming as far as Randolph.
Right.
To come to
Just
the
to get to
library,
the library.
on a Sunday. So you know, so I'm sure you know that Therese was instrumental, as you had mentioned. Who else was instrumental in pulling this all together?
Well, we have. Well, I have to give kudos first to Mary Jenkins at the Mass Cultural Council.
Okay, yeah.
She absolutely, you know, drove the bus. I mean, she just said, you need to do this, let's do this. And she really helped us to get through it quickly. So kudos to her. Anita Walker as well, who's the executive director at Mass Cultural, was very supportive. And, you know, she actually had to have her board make a decision before a board meeting was to happen in order for us to become a cultural district. So, I mean, they changed the rules a little bit for us. So thanks to them. And then we have two great co-chairs, Monica Mullen and Deborah Woodman are our co-chairs, and they've been very good. And then I have to say,
Is Deborah watching?
I don't know.
One of these seats was for you, Deborah. Where are you? And you too, Monica. Just kidding.
And then I hired Sheila Fay in June, and the first thing I said to her was, take a look at this application form and try filling it out. And, and so she did an amazing job on the application, not knowing, I mean, you know, she's very young and she's very smart, and she didn't know anything about the cultural district, but basically followed the directions and, you know, put that together. So I think those are the people who in the beginning were most instrumental, but we have a great, as you know, we have a great group of people on our committee, and I think that we're learning who we are and what we're assembled for now. This is kind of, you know, the drive was to get the designation, and we got the designation, and we actually got a great award this year as well from the Mass Cultural Council, which was the Commonwealth Award, and that's a pretty prestigious award in the state. It's only given out every 2 years.
Wow.
And Plymouth was one of 2 communities that were chosen as creative communities of Massachusetts. So it was us in Gloucester, so kind of similar to. So I think that, you know, our group is really poised to pull together some very nice things. I'm working actually with Mike Landers at Project Arts. He has the Roots and Folk Festival on the 11th and 12th of July, and we happen to have a fishing tournament on the 11th and 12th of July.
Excellent.
So we're collaborating, and we're expanding the fishing tournament, Bass and Blue, and collaborating with Mike's event and pulling in a seafood event that we would like to grow into a seafood festival that same weekend. I mean, why not?
I think we're on the ocean, aren't we?
I know. That's the thing is, you know, why not do a seafood festival? It's Plymouth. Yeah. So I think part of having this group all together is, you know, we can say to each other, hey, I've got an event that same day. Maybe we can make it one big event.
Well, and I think that's something that I've seen from the committee meetings that we've been to, is there seems to be this not only just great energy, but this collaboration now for everybody. It seemed like everybody was in their own silo,
Right.
and now those silos are knocked down, and everybody's saying, "Hey, let's see what we can do as a group here."
Right.
I think one of the parts of this that was the most fun is when, near the end of the application process, Anita Walker and Mary Jenkins came to Plymouth, and the committee, and we walked the district, because what it has to be to fit into the guidelines is a walkable district. So we would walk, and every 3 steps somebody was saying, well, that's a cultural asset, that would count, that works for that. Just so much in just a small area. And Anita and Mary were saying, we have to get back here. We have to come back to Plymouth and spend another day here. And that's what we want people to do. We want people to come to town and see, you know what, I didn't get to do everything I wanted to do. I'm going to come back next weekend or stay for 2 days. And as they're doing that, they're spending more money in town and helping the economy.
And what was the big thing they wanted to do that they couldn't get free to do because they had to do this walkthrough?
Oh, they wanted to spend more time shopping because
they wanted to shop.
As they're going to the cultural assets, they're walking by the shops.
Right.
So it just goes to show. And then we got to stop at New World Tavern.
Yes.
And have lunch there, and it was
their food's fantastic.
It was really great.
And they're a great cultural asset in and of themselves, with the stage out back and the music up front on the weekends. Yeah.
Matter of fact, they are, at least in the past, they have been our go-to for the Wednesday night free music series when the weather's inclement.
That's right.
And people come up there. I forget the name of the band we had last year, but we brought everybody up there, and of course it's not the same as sitting out with your pick-a-nick-a basket boo-boo, but at least it was people still had a lot of fun. And again, it's just it seems like there's that collaboration that's going on.
I'm sorry. The other piece that goes with that is, a lot of these arts organizations are tiny.
Yes.
Brewster Productions, even the Arts Center is all volunteer.
Yeah.
So if we can pool our resources, it just helps everyone out.
Right.
And pretty much every organization. Project Arts, we're all volunteer.
Absolutely.
Spires, they're all volunteer.
Even the Phil at 100 season, we're going to be celebrating our 100th season. I'm the only full-time person there.
Yeah.
I have 3 other part-time people.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
And nonprofits generally are that way. We all have a great base of wonderful volunteers,
Right.
and this gives us an opportunity to share volunteers, so people can work for the Phil. They can come over and work for Plymouth 400. They can go over and work for Project Arts. It gives them more of depth and breadth of what they can do for and in the community that they enjoy.
Well, and that's sort of like we just, as I mentioned, a month and a half ago with the Artie Awards. When you have people like Ed Santos, you have people like Jeff and Joyce Stewart that really give of themselves for the community, and not asking anything in return. They just want Plymouth. They want to leave Plymouth better than when they found it, and I think that's wonderful in that regard. Has there been any feedback that you've heard, Kim, from any of the merchants that are participating in these events, and sort of what their energy level is?
Only the ones that have been on the committee, and they're very excited about it.
Yeah.
But I noticed myself after our concerts, many more of the restaurants are open later.
Yeah.
Downtown is really buzzing. There was a time when you couldn't find a restaurant open after 9 o'clock.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
I remember once East Bay Grill was the only one you could go to at 7:30. But now you walk downtown on a Saturday night after our concerts, which is like 10 o'clock, and the streets are filled.
Yeah.
And that's great.
You can still get food.
And you can still get food.
The
and you
kitchen's
can-
open.
Right.
No, that's wonderful. So I know that we originally started off, and Ken, I'm going to prompt you for the Plymouth Bay Cultural District logo, sir. But I know that this originally was a project that was given to the Plymouth South Marketing Department?
The Plymouth South DECA marketing students.
Okay.
We had 2 young women who came on board with us to kind of shadow us and see what it was about, and then create their project. And their project consisted of several pieces, but one of them was to come up with a name. And so they went back to their student colleagues, and they brainstormed and they did a whole exercise with the students in their class, came up with several names, and we chose Plymouth Bay Cultural District out of those. And then they went back and did the same thing to come up with a concept for a logo. So they did that, and they came up with a few like sketches, like on the back of a
I was at
napkin.
that meeting where they presented that for the first time.
And it was great because you got these great ideas that were just kind of sketched out roughly on paper, but then from that we were able to create a really beautiful logo. So,
and I know Mary Johansson's taken a whack at it.
She has
as well.
She took the original line art and made it look more creative.
Yeah, so for you viewers out there that haven't seen it, if you look on your screen right now, this is the sort of the working logo of what the Plymouth Bay Cultural District is going to be. I know that at the last meeting, we talked a little bit about how to get the words Plymouth Bay Cultural District in there, so we're working on that. But as you see up here, we go from the upper left to theater with the camera performance to over to the music. The whale's tail, obviously, we're on the waterfront. And then the bottom would be, art with the paintbrush, and then, of course, the bag for retail, and then, of course, the fork, because you need a fork to eat all that wonderful food. And it's really kind of it's kind of an abstract, which is kind of nice. I like that abstract look to it, which I think everybody at the meeting had also concurred, versus something that's just very too picture perfect. I think it's nice to have that.
Clean lines, and it was very much looked like it was almost machine done.
Yeah, I think somebody had mentioned that it looked like it was like a bunch of phone apps.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
So she took and blended that out.
We had to put the art into for the arts and culture.
Exactly. And then some of the other, and I should have been able to. I forgot to ask Deborah for this, but we also have some signs that we have coming for the Plymouth Bay Cultural District as well, which are pretty. What's a 3 feet by?
I think it's 3 by 1.5 or 3 by 2.
3 by 2, 3 foot by 2 foot, sort of oval signs that we've got coming up. And they're going to be, at least right now, we're going to start with 2. One is going to be on the building, pretty much right on Leiden and Main, on the side of the Setting the Space building. And then the other one, I believe, is going to be as you come down Samoset and Main Street. Is that Main Street or Court Street?
Court Street.
Got too many streets.
Too many streets.
How many times did that change? How many times did that?
Warren Ave, Court Street, Main Street Extension.
Yeah.
Don't forget.
Yeah, but anyways, and then the other one's going to be right there where the Welcome Plymouth sign is.
Yes, where the Welcome Plymouth sign is.
Okay.
It'll say Plymouth Bay Cultural District.
And that'll really be, again, really promoting and the investment that, all these groups here are doing and the other groups that aren't presented here tonight about really how passionate we are about the Plymouth Bay Cultural District. So that's pretty exciting. And then the banner, what's going on? I know that the banner has been done. Is that correct? Are we just waiting for DPW to
go across the road? You mean?
Yeah.
I believe the banner's in process.
Okay.
And then of course you have to get a week that it's free because we're getting into the season now, and there's always a banner up across the road. So we just got to find the right week to get it up there.
And that'll be great as well. Again, if anyone would like to call in, it's 508-830-3971. Again, 508-830-3971. Call in and talk to us while we're here. This is kind of fun. Now, obviously, I know that Kenny Tavares has sat on the meetings. We also have Kevin O'Reilly.
Yeah, O'Reilly.
From the Plymouth Chamber as well. How have those two groups been instrumental in helping with that, with the whole process as well?
Well, the Plymouth Bay Cultural District, MCC, requires that it's
which is the Massachusetts
Cultural Council. Yeah. It requires that it's a committee of the town. So we are we will all be being sworn in as a town committee at some point.
Oh, we mentioned that at the last meeting.
Right. And so they require that the town selectman or mayor or whomever is the head of everything in town is part of this, and we had to go in front of the selectmen and present it and get approval for it and all of that. So it's a town committee, and then on the other side, the chamber and the and Destination Plymouth will both be promoting the events. Destination Plymouth, in their dining guide, has outlined, they do a map of that downtown area anyway. So they have a specific color line that shows the cultural district. And
cool.
They have some of the entities that are also members of theirs mentioned as part of the cultural district.
Wonderful, wonderful. And then how are, how can people, probably more so businesses in town, because obviously the more the merrier. What can other merchants that are watching? Because I know we've got just such a large crowd that watches our show. And no, I'm serious. I'm serious. That for them to get involved, or how can other people get involved?
Well, one of the first things they can do is sign up for our Facebook page. There is a Plymouth Bay Cultural District Facebook page, and that will list the events. It'll list the all the different cultural assets. We are working on a consolidated website that will not only have like a calendar of events showing everything that's happening, but also lists and links of all the different cultural assets. So people can kind of do a one-stop shopping sort of thing. And we, since it hasn't been that long, we haven't met that often, there are a lot of ideas that are being thrown around, a lot of really great ideas of things that we want to happen, like a weekly roundup. That would be like an e-blast that would talk about all the events that week.
What's going on
and
this
it'll
week.
show you what's going on at the Spire and what's going on at, if the Phil has a concert, or just kind of putting them all in one place. So you have, if you want to know what's going on, you look at one site.
And again, that's Plymouth Bay Cultural District on Facebook. Matter of fact, I was on there this evening before I came here, and I noticed that the was it on there's a Brewster Productions that they were promoting their acoustic series that they do at the
Hedge House.
At the Hedge House.
On the lawn.
Right on the lawn there, and I went to a couple of those, I think last year or the year before, and again, fantastic, fantastic
And again,
things.
it's a couple of guys that put this together, and they just did a successful pledge drive
Oh, good for them. I didn't know that.
on one of those pledge sites. I can't remember which one,
Right.
and they reached their goal just this
Wow,
week.
that's
So that's
great.
great for
Fantastic.
them, because now they have enough seed money to move forward.
Yeah.
And I know that
Good for them.
where the Cultural Bay or the Plymouth Bay Cultural District is working on a website down the road, because we talked about that at the last meeting as well. But yes, go on to Facebook. Again, just type
Like
in
us.
Plymouth Bay Cultural District. Like us. You already like us, but you know what I mean by liking us. And you'll be able to access that and find all the events. I mean, because as I scrolled down, there were just a bunch of things going on. And I know Full Sail, Jody uses social media very well.
Yes, she does.
As well as some of the other local businesses do. And really, for if you live here in this town and you're looking for something to do, that's probably the go-to site for the time being to really see what's going on. And also, please, if you're on there and maybe you've been to an event, whether it's like for instance this Friday night coming up at the Spire Center is Steve Smith and the Nakeds at 8:00. And I mean, their band's been around forever. They're fantastic. They're top professionals, and it's only $15 a ticket. I mean, really, you can't get
incredible.
any better than that here in the Plymouth area. So, if you do attend any of these events, please go back onto the Plymouth Bay Cultural District's Facebook and like it, share it, comment on it, because I think the more that people do that, sort of like dropping that pebble in the pond and just watching, the wakes continue to go out further and further and further. And so that's how, if you just live here in this town and you want to help some way, that's probably a great way to start.
Absolutely.
Is, get your friends on there, start sharing it, and being able to really help promote this wonderful organization that we have. And it's really for not just for outside visitors, but it's also for you, the wonderful citizens and the Plymouthians here in town as well.
Well, it's one of the things that makes it's one of the reasons that people move to a town like Plymouth is because it has such a great, vibrant, social, cultural fabric. And so I think that it really is for residents. It's certainly not just for visitors, but then we also get the added benefit of driving the economy, the creative economy, through all of these events and performances and art shows to bring people here, have them stay longer. Actually, I was looking at some stats today, and tourism in Massachusetts is the number 3 industry. In Plymouth, it's the number 1 industry.
Wow.
And cultural tourists tend to spend more per day, about $62 more per day than
Fantastic.
people who are coming for other reasons. And they also tend to have a higher level of education, so
and income,
and so they spend more and they stay longer.
I think those are also the people that also realize that like they browse, so they're going to be going from one shop to another. Like you had mentioned when the ladies came down from MCC, how they were walking around saying, we need to shop more.
Yeah.
Which I think is a gene that most women have anyways.
And then you have to stop at the restaurant.
And you got to stop at the restaurant.
You have to stop for coffee, and then you have to stop for an afternoon drink.
Or an adult beverage. I mean, that's always a good thing.
That's right.
And so that's fantastic. And it's like, again, I think when I first moved here to Plymouth 15 years ago, and I can remember, throughout maybe the first 5 years, was walking downtown and seeing so many empty stores and shops.
Yeah.
And now, I think there might be one.
Yeah, I don't know if there are
and you've
any.
even got the old antique places now. There's going to be another some type of a stir-fry company going in there.
Oh, really?
There's
Yep.
also going to be another...
The Guilty Bakery.
The Guilty
Oh,
Bakery.
there's Guilty. Yeah, we love that one.
And so you've seen, and even a mutual friend of ours, Anne Marie Oriola, who's got Anna Marie's Dessert Cafe. And now you see a lot of these small businesses that are doing well.
Right.
But it's also, again, gives people just another location to be able to go,
Absolutely.
another destination to be going to, and it's kind of it's exciting.
Well, it's fun to explore, even for a local. To walk down, walk downtown sometime and just go back and forth and see what's new, because it's much better to do on foot than the drive-through. Yeah. And you see a lot more, and you really, I really think that shopping local and buying local is a really important part of being a part of a community and being a good steward to your community.
And I know I try to do that, especially around the holidays.
Right.
Is to be able to go and frequent and patronize the the local businesses, because again it's it's not cheap to run a small business.
No, it isn't.
And so it's great that we're able to to be able to give back. And I know that for the first Saturday group as well, Jody Prifty and Gary Wass are two of the people that we know from the meetings.
Right.
But I know that there's when I was walking downtown, was it last Saturday, that there were I saw the merchant decals.
Yes.
Now that some of them are starting to sport, which the decals are really there to identify them as a participating merchant in the group, in the organization, and so for people to be able to frequent those places as well. And we have a call.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, hello there. Hello.
It was a hang-up.
Ken, are you pulling our leg? Is there really somebody there? Hello? Major feedback. All right. Hello? Do you want to translate it, Ken, and come in and tell us who is that call? Hello? Call back again. Please, call back.
We lost you.
I think Ken hung up on it. Don't take it personal. Hello? This is what happens when you're on live TV.
I know, really.
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
I think you were talking about First Saturday.
Yes.
And one of the things that they've decided to do is to make, I think September, their first Saturday, is going to be themed for the arts.
Right.
So
That's
all
right,
of the
yeah.
other
Yeah.
arts
Right.
organizations will
Love,
find a
was it
way.
Love the Arts or something
Love
like
the
that?
arts.
Love the
yeah.
Arts.
So, that's a good first thing for the cultural district to kind of grasp onto, and everybody just do something that day, whether it's outside of your establishment or inside, whether it's giveaways or free performance or something to really draw people into, places like the Spire. I bet there are a lot of people in Plymouth who have never set foot in there, and it is such a beautiful and acoustically sound space. And the same with the Arts Center. We have another caller?
We have another caller?
Or the same caller?
Hello?
Hello, caller.
Yes.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Sally Dabrowski, and I'm involved with the Downtown First Saturday Committee.
Oh, great.
And you just mentioned Jody Pripsey. I just had a meeting with her,
Okay.
and I just wanted to promote our events. We try to do something every first Saturday of every month.
Mm-hmm.
And this coming month is Beach Blanket Bingo. We have events going on at the courthouse. We're going to have hula hoops, and we're going to have a bingo game. The Fred Astaire dancers will be dancing up and down the street.
Oh, that's cool.
There'll be music. And our whole goal is to promote small businesses in the downtown, to bring people in and provide fun activities and music. And this week we're even going to have some push carts with vegetables going up and down.
Awesome.
I read about that in the
That's
paper.
cool.
That's great, Sally.
Yes, we're
Good
very
job.
excited about it.
And Sally, what business do you have?
I don't own a business. I work at the two antique shops, Main Street Antiques and Main Street Market.
Oh, yes.
Oh, okay,
Yep,
great.
I frequent there often. I love browsing in your stores.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
They're tremendous.
And again, it's really, as Sally mentioned, it's really about the small businesses, because I don't care what town you're from, and even though we're 100 square miles of a town, it's still a small town. The small businesses are really the bloodline. I mean, it's really what thrives the local economies, and so
Absolutely.
yeah. And so, Sally, it's this coming Saturday, the 6th of June. And what time does it start, Sally?
Around 11 in the morning.
Okay. Are you going to have any live music in front of your location?
Well, in front of our store, we're going to have one of our dealers who sells 50s and 60s records. He's going to play his records and sell them out of the street.
That's awesome.
Ah.
And we're even going to have a former hairdresser, Diane.
Yep.
She's going to be willing to tease anybody's hair. So you'll look like an
Oh, I'll be there. I'll be there.
for a $5 donation to the First Saturday Future events. It's really a fun day for everybody. It
That's
really
cool.
is good. Most of the stores are having specials. We have more than 30 members, and we're getting new members all the time. We even had 3 new members join today.
Oh, and who are those, Sally?
Perfect.
Let's see, Tom's Potty Teas and Red Roses.
Yep.
The Sidewalks End, which is a gift shop downtown.
Nice.
And the New Dutch and American
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
furniture place.
That
Yeah.
happened recently.
Oh, that's fantastic. And Sally, if there's merchants out there that are watching the show, who do they get in contact with if they want to participate and be part of the group of the first Saturday?
Well, we have a website, and the website is www.firstsaturdayplymouth.com.
And is that first as in the letter or the first or just?
FIRST.
Okay.
First Saturday spelled out.
Yes, First Saturday is spelled out. And if you go to that website now, you can see there's a whole list of things at the top, and one of them says specials. And you can find out what the specials are in the various shops.
That's
Excellent.
all.
People offer free gifts, raffles, special items, all kinds of things.
And
So
so,
it's really fun.
and so again, it's First Saturday, first being spelt out. Was that .org?
No.
.com.
www.firstsaturdayplymouth.com.
.com. So I didn't even know that you guys, I think, I don't know if Gary or Jody had mentioned that, but that's fantastic. I mean,
Right.
obviously, again, it's another way for people, viewers and people who live in this town, the residents of Plymouth, to, again, you got to participate in your town. It's like when we have a vote come up, and yet only 23% of the people show up to vote.
Right.
The livelihood of this town, the ability for this town to do things. Obviously, there's a tax base that goes along with that. Businesses pay their taxes, but sales tax is important as well, and it's all reciprocal. I mean, that's how we do things in this town, and so the more that we thrive, the more things we're going to be able to do as we continue to go towards, especially the Plymouth 400.
Right.
That's fantastic.
Anybody who wants to volunteer and help us out, we have meetings at the Full Sail every Wednesday at 6 o'clock.
Okay. Do adult beverages come with that too?
Pardon me?
Do adult beverages come with that?
If you want to purchase one, you may.
Okay. I think I know where I'll be that on that night. Sally, anything else you'd like to say?
No, I just hope that everybody comes downtown. It's supposed to be good weather. Last year we had a lot of Saturdays in the first of each month that rained, or would blow things off the street.
Yeah.
But it's supposed to be great weather, and it should be really fun.
Great. And Sally, again, you work where?
I work at the two antique shops downtown.
Okay.
Wonderful. Well, next time I'm walking by there, I'm going to stop in and say hello and
Oh,
thank you
great.
for calling.
Very good.
Great.
Thanks,
Sally.
Sally.
Have a good
Take
night.
care. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
That was great.
Yeah, that's good.
I didn't realize that they had a website. I think maybe Jody or Gary might have mentioned it during one of the meetings, but
Yeah, I think so.
But again, it's that was wonderful. That was a great call. 30 members.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I knew that there was at least a dozen, maybe a little bit more than a dozen. I didn't
Right.
realize that there were 30 members.
Yeah, no, it's great, and it grows. And the great thing is within the cultural district, you don't have to reside. If you're a cultural entity, and say it's Priscilla Beach Theater, which is
Yep.
a really well-known, the oldest barn theater in the United States, but they're outside of the cultural district. Well, all they have to do to be part of the cultural district is do some performance or something with the cultural district inside the district once a year.
Okay.
And then we can promote them as well. So all of their shows that happen outside the district are not lost. It's all part of it. So I think that that's the great thing about growing these organizations is being able to reach out, and I think that's what First Saturday is doing. I know that they were there for the downtown merchants, but I can see that growing and spreading, and it will be great if we can get everybody kind of singing the same song.
Well, if you had mentioned earlier, Kim, that there's 120 entities.
Mm-hmm.
There's a quarter of them right there, 30 of them.
Exactly.
I mean, that's 25%.
Right.
And it's something that they've only done this coming Saturday will be their second First Saturday, isn't it?
No.
No? Well, that they actually launched it.
Yes.
Yes.
No, they've had several. I believe they've had a few.
Oh.
Yeah, I think they've had
I think
a
it was
few.
the weather-wise.
Weather-wise, it was the
wasn't-
first outdoor one that
That's
they've been
okay,
able to
that's-
have
yeah,
in a while because
that's-
it rained. Remember, she
Yeah,
said it rained
yeah,
all the other
yeah.
Saturdays.
Excellent. Well, hey, that was cool. Hey, Ken, do we have any other callers? Dave Gallerani, are you out there? Well, I want to get back to Kim and the Plymouth Philharmonic. You had mentioned 100 years.
Yeah, we're getting ready to launch our 100th season, and it's going to start with a big 4th of July concert celebration on the waterfront just before the fireworks.
And where are they going to set up?
Right, facing Coles Hill, right?
Oh, okay.
What is the?
Oh, where the stage is now?
Yeah.
The hat shell?
Not the little hat shell. It's too small for an orchestra.
Are you making fun of our hat shell?
It's great for project
Mike
arts,
Landers and I have hat shell envy.
Yeah, it's a hat shellette.
Hat shellette.
It's very, very small.
If the orchestra could fit on there, we would do that.
Okay.
But it's going to be a great event, and then our season starts in October, and all of our concerts are going to have something a little extra with them this year. In celebration of the 100th, we'll have soirees before everyone or after parties, and it's just going to be a really great year.
So 100 year,
100 seasons.
Now this is the oldest?
It's not the oldest in the country.
Oh, it isn't? Okay.
No, but it's right up there.
Yeah.
But it's our 100th season, and if you're wondering why the dates don't make sense, there were 2 years during World War I where we did not perform.
I remember hearing that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's the 100th season.
Yeah. I think when at the Artie Awards, when I was talking to Stephen, that he had mentioned, it was either Stephen or somebody had mentioned that there was two years that they didn't do it, and it was because of the war.
Right.
And our conductor, Stephen Caridianis, has been with the orchestra. This is his 22nd season.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, you
And
talk
he's
about
tremendous.
a guy who is just enthusiastic about life.
Totally.
And I went to the, Michele and I went to the Plymouth Arc fundraiser.
Oh, wasn't that a great concert?
It was a great concert. It was a great concert.
Wasn't it a shame that those seats weren't all filled?
It was crazy that those seats weren't all filled, and having the guest performers, Sons of Serendip, who were phenomenal, and then having the orchestra do some numbers with them, it was incredible. And we commented on the fact that
every
it's
seat
too
should have been
bad
filled
that
because
these
it
seats
not only
aren't
being
full.
a really great concert, and it was priced affordably.
Absolutely.
And that money went to the Plymouth Arc,
That's
which
right.
is a great organization.
Yeah, absolutely
So
it
with
is.
all of those things combined, every seat should have been filled.
Yeah.
And I kept saying that this is going to be one of those concerts that everybody who is there is going to wish that
they brought someone else,
that they brought someone else or anyone that missed it really lost out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and it's because I had interviewed them the week earlier here on Talk of the Town. I had the
Director, right?
Leanne was one of the. She's actually is serviced by ARC. And she's actually an advocate. She goes up to the State House
great.
once a month and continues to talk about the importance of funding. And and there's the cute young lady that was right here next to me.
I'm sorry, I can't remember.
I can't
her name
either. So if you're watching, I'm sorry.
I know, right?
I'm over 50. That's my excuse. And so they invited us there, and I tell you, it was just fantastic. But whether it's that event or when we had Livingston Taylor at the Spire Center or Adam Ezra, I mean, all these fantastic bands, and you don't fill the place up. And you just sit there and you want to shake the people of Plymouth and just say, will you wake up and come out and help support your town? Come out and support the arts. Come out and support the music. Come out and support the merchants. You don't need to go to Situate or Hingham to go to dinner. You got a lot of places right in Plymouth that you can do that in. And so it's really important that, it's your town. It goes back to that analogy of voting. Mm-hmm. If you don't go out and vote, then don't complain. When you say that your taxes are going up because, businesses are failing in downtown and there's not a bigger tax base, again, look in the mirror. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
And what a fun way to do it. By going out and enjoying a concert at the Spire or at any Memorial Hall or anywhere.
I mean, Steve Smith and the Nakeds. I mean, these guys are fantastic. They got a horn section. They're seasoned pros.
Yeah.
And again, $15 a ticket. How can you go wrong?
Yeah, it'll be a great show.
And and that's one of the other another co-promotion that Project Arts does. With the Spire Center, with Bob Hollis and Lloyd Rosenberg, and we appreciate their participation and their help with that as well. What other events beside the 4th of July that you have coming up at the Phil?
Like I said, the season starts in October, and at that opening concert, we're going to premiere a new piece that was commissioned through New Music for America, part of the Symphony Orchestra League, and we are the orchestra that's going to be premiering that piece.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, fantastic.
Wow.
And by Christopher Theophanitis.
What is it with all these Greek people?
That's a hard
Really
one.
hard to say last names, yeah.
Right.
I mean, I had to phonetically spell out Stephen's name, but I still let you say it.
We also have a guest pianist on that concert doing Rachmaninoff, and the Friday before, we're going to do a luncheon with a guest artist luncheon with the composer, the pianist Stephen, of course, and it's going to be at Mayflower Society House.
Beautiful.
Oh, wonderful.
So that
How
should be
cool is
another
that?
fun
That's
event.
great.
And then there's a pre-concert soiree that's at Pilgrim Hall. So it's kind of tying all these groups together, and that's
Absolutely.
what I love to do. I love to,
Yeah.
some people will come, because they've never been to the Mayflower Society House.
That's right. That's right.
The people that come to our concerts, will say, well, there's a good reason to go.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's just going to be a lot of fun.
And it's so much fun to collaborate with all these entities, and that's what I'm finding too on the Cultural District, but also with Plymouth 400 is collaborating with everybody is really the way to go, and it's really the way to grow. And I think that the Mayflower Society House, a lot of in the past, they've had a new change of leadership. They've got a new executive director. It feels fresh. And now, Pilgrim Hall has had Patrick Brown. He's leaving now, but he has really changed kind of the face of what Pilgrim Hall Museum is over the last several years. We've got the Mayflower back. She's going to go again because she needs a lot of work, but she's going to keep coming back. And that's another thing. If you really love this town and you live here, so I assume you do, you got to support Plymouth Plantation and the Mayflower, because when that ship is not here, it hurts everybody.
Yeah, that's for sure. And when she came up the canal a couple of weeks ago, there was so many people on Facebook posting the tugboat
And what some
pulling
great
her through.
pictures.
I've never seen her move so fast. And then my cousin's Kim Basari, Stevie Basari's wife. We have his sister, my cousin Paula, has the place out on Long Beach.
Yep.
And they took pictures of her coming into the harbor.
Oh, gosh.
And again, posted that on Facebook. And talking about, again, going on to Plymouth Bay Cultural District on Facebook and sharing and liking and commenting, because those few pictures literally went viral.
Oh, they were
they were
everywhere.
all over the place.
Mayflower Society chapters in states as far as Arizona and Colorado were posting those pictures.
Yeah.
Because we're friends with all of those, Plymouth 400, and we were seeing those pictures, get retweeted, posted. I mean, it was very, very gratifying.
And I sometimes wonder if it gets lost on people to really realize how blessed, how special it is to live in America's first hometown. I mean, it really is. I mean, everything that we have within our democracy today, as you and I talked about when I had you on earlier, came from the Mayflower Compact, which came from the Magna Carta. And again, I mean, it's almost unfathomable to really realize what a group of people who wanted to practice religious freedom, what they started. And by all means, they had no idea what they were going to start.
That was not their intent.
No.
At all. But, the success of Plymouth Colony, and that's what we are celebrating, the success of Plymouth Colony, with all of its beautiful and ugly stories, is why Mass Bay Colony, those folks saw the success that was going on and came here. And it was, of course, Mass Bay that grew into Boston because of its deep water harbor, mainly, and the aggressiveness of that group of people. But I mean, that's where America was born. It was born out of the success of this colony, and that is a national and international commemoration.
Yeah, and again, originally, the partnership that they had with the Wampanoags initially, and again, there was an ugly part of that history, as in any country, and there's always going to be some ugly parts of it, but initially, it worked, and dual credit goes to both of those groups, because without either one of them, Plymouth might not be what it is today.
Absolutely.
It could have ended up like Jamestown.
Yes.
Where all of a sudden people they just disappeared.
Not even a town.
No, it doesn't exist anymore.
Right,
Exactly.
right.
Exactly. Well, we've got a few more minutes. Kim, I want to thank you for being on the show. Anything particular that you'd like to just talk about, or?
Well, our season tickets are on sale right now.
Yes.
Good.
So if you want season tickets, you can buy as few as 3 concerts or all of them.
Okay.
And then you get the best seating for our holiday pops, which
It's fantastic.
are always popular. We have 3 holiday pops concerts because of demand, and they're all selling out. So the best way to get your tickets early is to subscribe.
Oh, that's cool.
Single tickets go on sale July 15th.
Okay.
And you can do it on the website. You can call our office,
And what
or
is
you
the
can mail
website?
it in. Website is plymouthphil.org.
PlymouthPhil.org, and the phone number?
508-746-8008.
Wonderful. Repeat that one more time.
508-746-8008.
Great. And Michele, pleasure to have you on once again.
Thanks.
I know.
I have some stuff to say.
Well, I'm gonna. Oh, believe me, I know you have stuff to say. It's that Italian in you.
And I have to use my
You gotta
hands.
use your hands. She's been sitting on them. I remember 5th grade. My teacher was in the 5th grade. Mrs. Stull said, Andrew, you talk too much, so she made me sit on my hands. I couldn't talk. I was like, ah. So, what would you like to part with?
So, if you like to fish, we have a fantastic fishing tournament, the Bass and Blue Tournament. As I said earlier, it's going to be in conjunction with the Roots and Folk Music Festival, and we'll have a seafood smackdown in honor
I like
of
that
the
name.
whole seafood smackdown with a celebrity chef, soon to be named. And you can register on our website, which is www.plymouth400, the number, plymouth400inc.org. Please register. You can. We have a $1,000 top prize this year, which is double for what we've had. We also have group fishing this year. So if you come in with a team, all the better.
Wonderful. Ladies, thank you very much. And again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in to Talk of the Town. Again, if it is Wednesday and it's 8 o'clock at night, it's Talk of the Town. Thank you, everybody. And again, don't forget, if you see Karen and Ken around town, make sure you stop and say hello. What was he just doing?
You just showed your license plate.
Oh, my license plate. Next time I'm on, we'll have to show that. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day. And again, be blessed that you live in this wonderful town. Thank you.